Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another edition of Behind the Small Business Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Dandino. I am more than happy to be with you here today. Again, this is all brought to you by Centennial State Insurance Agency. Give us a call today if you're looking for a free insurance quote, 303-838-0554. Today, I have Dan joining me and talking about his business and his experiences and giving some advice and all that good stuff. Dan, sir, how are you doing today, man?
Hey, doing great. It's an awesome day.
Every day's an awesome day. That's for sure. Well, dude, let's just jump right on into this. Go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit. Tell us about who you are, or what your business is, and kind of like what made you want to be a small business owner.
Oh, yeah, crazy. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for that. So, yeah, my name's Dan Mowinski. I do have a small AI consultancy that I started about a year and a half ago. Personally, I have 3 young kids, which is not always easy. 7-year-old and my twins are about to turn 4. So, yes, twins. I previously had a full-time job up until about 2 weeks ago. So February was when I went full-time in my business, and I was building it about a year, working nights and weekends, and all the time that all the extra free time that I have with having young kids and a wife.
Oh, I'm
and
sure.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been exciting. Building a business on my own, and really to your question is like, why did I decide to do this? Well, I just saw the power of AI back when ChatGPT first became public. I started playing around with it, and I really knew that it would change the world, and I had to jump in. I had to learn everything I could on how to drive this amazing vehicle.
Yeah. AI is something that is not going away
Mhm.
anytime soon. And
Mhm.
I'm definitely seeing, the increased reasons for why we, especially in the business sphere, want to stay ahead. We've got to get smart on it. It's one of those things where if we don't, we're going to find ourselves well behind the power curve
Mhm.
compared to some other people. And that's just not a position we want to be in. So I know it's for people who are maybe not very technical minded, like I know I'm not, right?
Yeah.
It can be a little daunting and overwhelming. So kind of like what do you do with AI in your business, and kind of what is the focal point of it there?
Yeah, so I do a lot of different things, but really I just started by learning. I didn't know much when ChatGPT first came out, so I signed up for all the newsletters you possibly could, try to find all the free trainings that were on YouTube, or and there's a lot more now than there was a couple years ago after our first
Yeah.
launch. But I did my best to try to dive in and learn as much as I could. I ended up taking a 100-day course from a company called 100 School, where they do free courses. Like every day you get an email with like a little mission. So learning a lot about AI and all the tools that were actually out there, instead of, Google searching something, they were like, hey, here's like 30 different tools that can do all sorts of different things. So what I did is I figured out which ones would be beneficial to me, and what I could do with them. And then from there, how I could help small businesses. And it didn't start as a business. It started more of a hobby, like just having fun with AI, learning about it. And then after really truly understanding the power of it, it's like, okay, businesses can use this, like especially the small to medium sized businesses, because the large companies, the Fortune 100s, the Fortune 500s, they're using AI already because they have the
Mm-hmm.
budget for it. They have the time. They can hire people, where the small businesses, they can't. They don't have the time, to work nights and weekends like I did to learn AI. So I learned there was ways that, you can help small businesses in a lot of different ways, whether it's just automating tasks, whether it's anything from the sales side, like, hey, lead enrichment, like, hey, somebody fills out a form on my website. Okay, you got their name and email. Great. Now what?
Right.
So you can use AI to do a lot of different things with that information, follow up, find out a little bit more about them, things like that.
Okay. Yeah, I think one of the big things, I always try to preach here on this podcast, talking to successful small business owners, is to not get complacent, right? And you're
Mhm.
kind of hitting on a lot of these different topics that I push a lot of, find ways to learn, find ways to grow and excel, and push your business to that next level, because we're all, every business owner is capable of it, but it's just a matter of finding time,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
I think that's a big part of it, is when you have everything else going on, it's like, with what time in my other than like, okay, I'm just gonna stop sleeping. Yeah, you know. So where do you kind of like if a small business owner approaches you and says, "Man, I definitely need some help with this. I don't even know where to start." Kind of like what is the process that you're taking within your business to help out other small business owners to go through that journey of learning?
Yeah, so I'm my target market, and right now I'm focusing on gyms and how I can help them on the back end. So that's why I launched my website, gymlaunch.ai. So from there, really what I'm trying to do is help them increase their membership if that's their problem, or maybe they have problems with conversion on that side, or keeping the current members that they do have, so they have a churn problem. So the first thing I want to do is I want to diagnose like what is their biggest pain point. So is it internal? Is it external? Is it new members? Is it staff issues? So like really what's the main problem? What are they doing? And maybe what are they not doing? And then I see how AI could plug in to that. So really just asking questions and understanding their problem. And then I can diagnose and then offer some solutions. It could be something as simple as, hey, talk to Chat GPT and ask it these hyper specific questions. Or you need a little bit more work, well let's work together, and then I can work with them on some of the things that I can help them do, or I can just give them advice on what they could do. So there's a couple different ways on how to work with people depending on the time that they have and how much effort they want to put into it. Some people are like, look, just help me get my members, I don't want to do anything, just
Yeah.
help me with this side. Or some people are very involved, like they want to be involved in every step of the way, they want to learn. So it really depends on what they want to do.
Okay. No, I like the different kind of wide variety
Mhm.
of things there. It's kind of not of just a one size fits all. Being able to tailor it to what those small business owners want. I think it's really interesting. One, you're helping out small business, but you are in yourself a small business owner, right? So and it's I don't think I've ever had somebody on the show here yet whose job is to help small business owners, right? Right?
Really?
Um,
That's
yeah, I
interesting.
mean,
Okay.
I mean, there's always a community of everyone helping each other out, and
Mhm.
people willing to partner with other small businesses and stuff. But to have that vantage point of I am here to specifically help small business owners in this particular area for you, AI. So what are the challenges like that you're facing, right? There's always the challenges that regular, well, let's call them regular, normal small business owners face, more common, if you will, of like, the bakeries or the restaurants or
Mm.
real estate, right? Everybody has like their own issues and hard or difficulties. So I guess from your experience so far, what are some of the things that you've gone through that have been challenges that you've had to overcome in standing all this up?
Yeah, so I would say I definitely started the wrong way.
Okay.
So going after a target market or a target fit or advertising or talking to the wrong people are probably the worst mistake that I made. So it actually took me from when I actually launched my business, it took me about 7 months to actually get my first paid client, which is crazy. And
Yeah.
it was driving me nuts the whole time. I was just trying to figure it out. But eventually, I learned that you have to truly understand the pain point, and you have to bring an exact solution on what you can do. So, like, what problem can I help solve? So, instead of just being a general AI guy, which was I was kind of positioning myself at, so that was part of it, but also part of it was the market fit. I started talking to solopreneurs because that's who I knew, and that's who I managed, and that those were the people in my network. So, just people themselves, like very small businesses themselves, are just doing side hustles. And it's like, how can I help them increase that side hustle? Or how can I help them increase their small business when they're just barely squeaking along on that side? So I learned that that market was not the right market for my services specifically,
Mhm.
because they didn't have the time, they didn't have the budget. They were stretched thin as is. They were probably working nights and weekends just like I was at the time.
Yeah.
So they didn't have the time or the budget to be able to really understand or really put forth the time to see the benefits of AI. So as soon as I
Yeah.
changed that market fit, going from the solopreneur of like a very general AI idea to a very specific, like I can help you increase your Google reviews is that important to you? And most businesses, especially like the small to medium sized businesses, like, yes, I need to increase my Google reviews. That's my visibility. That's how people find me. If it's a brick and mortar store, which a lot of gyms are.
Yeah. Right.
So as soon as I found that pain point that I was able to solve or help them solve a problem with that, that got my foot in the door. And then they're like, yes, I see this. And then immediately I started getting clients, and it was just one after the other after that. So almost yeah, it was pretty amazing.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really good kind of experience story that any business owner can take away from. And that's why I like this podcast. I mean, every business owner has their own unique story. Everyone has their own unique experiences as well, but there are so many commonalities
Yeah.
as well. And I think you see so many small businesses fail or close within the first. I mean, the statistics are out there. The first year alone
Mhm.
is like a death trap to small businesses. And
Pretty
I
much.
think it's because trying to find those clients or those customers and establish themselves is a huge undertaking all in its own.
Mhm.
So now that you've kind of got some of that under your belt and you have some of these clients and whatnot, like where do you feel you are now in your business, and kind of where do you think that's taking you moving forward as well?
Yeah, so where I'm right now specifically, it's been great. So I'm still in the heavy acquisition phase, but I'm also learning a lot about exactly what gyms need, which has been great for me. Like I knew quite a bit. I've always gone to the gym pretty much my whole life. Triathlete over here as well. I got my hanging for my Ironman right there.
Nice, nice.
So always been going to the gym. Love that. So now it's just learning more about their specific pain points and like other things that AI can do for them. So whether it's something like a voice agent, like the smaller boutiques, they have problems because they don't have somebody sitting at the front desk just, saying hi or waving, like the big fitness gyms out there, they can afford people up front. But the smaller boutique ones, which don't have a huge budget, there's usually like the coach, maybe one or two coaches, but they're on the floor coaching, they're doing their job. They're not just up front, answering phones and waiting for people to walk in. So that's something that AI can help out with, is like a voice agent, or even something on the back end like chatbots being able to answer questions, or AI agents being able to help with inventory or management, or hey, this person hasn't been here in 3 weeks. They came 3 times a week, but it's been 3 weeks. They have zero. What's going on? Maybe we should reach out to them and see if they're okay, see if they want to come, back. Like, what's the
Mhm,
problem? Why haven't they been coming? So just
mhm.
identifying trends and patterns and things like that, that's something that AI can do really well.
Okay. I think it's just fascinating in general. And just out of curiosity, do you find that you're kind of unique in what you're setting up here, or is this like an emerging area of small businesses where other people are kind of starting their own things similar to what you're doing as well?
I mean, I'm part of a consultancy group with about 800 AI consultants as well, or I'm
Wow.
sorry, 1,800 AI consultants. It's
Still, wow.
actually based out of here in Denver, innovating with
Yeah.
AI. So somebody here in Denver, he started about a year and a half ago, training people on how to help businesses or how to build an AI consultancy. So that's how really I got started. So there are a lot of people out there that are trying to help businesses, but not nearly as many as you would think. And when I do talk to people, or I, go to networking groups or things like that, I'm typically one of the only AI consultants out there, and definitely the only one that I've ever ran into that specializes in gyms.
So yeah, I mean, you're kind of paving the way for for this, And I imagine once people see more of uh, um, the benefits to what you're doing here. I mean, you're specializing primarily in gyms, but what
Mhm.
about, again, the restaurants, the
Oh
bakeries,
yeah.
the this, the that, the gift shops, where people may not even think that it's necessary right now, but I think just again, as the market continues to move this way, as the community and culture keeps moving towards AI,
Mhm.
it's very quickly going to become something where you have to be able to understand it, at least to some degree, or have somebody like you in their corner who can help them out.
Yep, absolutely, and I'm seeing that as well. So, like, just the other people in my network, of all those AI consultants when they're talking to businesses. Most businesses are using AI or using ChatGPT like a better search engine. They're just using it
Yeah.
like Google, like asking it questions, telling it to rewrite emails. They're not doing workflows. They're not creating voice agents. They're not doing these things. They're not creating applications to help them with their budgeting or help them reach out to members or with their marketing or even like brainstorming. That's one of the easiest things that you can do with AI is just ask it some questions. Hey, I have this problem, and then iterate, talk to it, ask it better questions. So learn what it can do and ask for suggestions and have it learn with you or have it teach you some things. And then maybe, it gives you 5 ideas, but maybe none of the ideas you like. It's the sixth idea from you putting your human brain
Hmm.
together. It's like, okay, you know what? That's 5 great ideas, AI. Thank you. But you know what? I'm going to go with idea number 6. But I never would have got to idea number 6 if I didn't get the help from AI.
It's one of the things that I've kind of learned playing around with it, using it for my other podcasts as well and whatnot. It's definitely something that just it improves over time, right? You have to continue to feed information into it so it learns more about what you're doing. I think some people kind of expect it to, and tell me if I'm wrong, but to me, it almost seems like some people would expect it to just be able to know everything right off the bat,
Yeah.
right? So I think people there's a misunderstanding there that you have to. It's almost like a partner.
Mhm.
It's a computerized partner. You have to tell it more about yourself. It has to learn about you. And
Mhm.
to some people, it's like I don't want a computer learning about me, right? So have you kind of faced any of those challenges with people going like, I don't know if I want to put too much information in here because I don't feel safe with that or I don't feel comfortable with that or has there been any resistance to people you've talked to so far in terms of trying to get this going?
Yeah, definitely, especially when I'm talking to some of the people. So I did some speaking engagements as well. So like talking to CFOs, like specifically. So I did a speaking engagement for about 20 CFOs, and their biggest concern was the privacy aspect behind it. And there's, like obviously you're not going to take a ton of data, like, people's personal information and throw that into Chat GPT.
Right,
There are
right.
tools out there that you can do things like you can download LLMs to your computer so it runs locally and that sounds like a lot, but it's really not that big of a deal, to do it. It's not difficult. Most people can do it just by asking AI a few questions. How do I do that? But still, they think it's too technical, and I think that's one of the biggest problems. Is people think it's very difficult and oh, this is so hard to do, but it's really not. It's really not. I don't have a technical background. I just played with AI and learned how to use it. But as far as like directly answering your question, yeah, people are concerned with putting things into AI like a Chat GPT or into a Gemini, but at the same time, you have to do some of that so it can help you become better or really be your best self. And just like you were saying, you have to use AI like it's an assistant. Like if you were to hire a brand new personal assistant, you have to teach them. You can't say, go get me coffee. Well, because they're going to go bring you back a black coffee, right? And then you have
Right,
to,
exactly.
oh, I don't like black coffee. I like it with, Splenda and sugar or, whatever, cream, no cream, whatever it is. But you have to teach your personal assistant that this is what I like, this is what I don't like. No, this is bad. Like this output you
Mhm.
gave me is like terrible. Like I don't like the way that it's structured. I want it structured this way. And then AI will learn, oh, okay, this is how you like it. You like bullet points. You don't like paragraphs, just as one hyper
Mhm.
specific example. But that's how it learns. So, like you were saying, you have to teach it how to do it, how you operate so it can work better for you over time. Mhm.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious, where do you think maybe not a specific small business question here, but we could tie it back into this. Like, where do you see the future of AI going? Maybe more specifically, other than just it's going to be everywhere, right? Right, and kind of already is almost everywhere. But where do you see it going and integrating more into businesses and society? And advice for somebody who's listening right now, who's anyone from a brand new business owner to a well-established business owner. How do they even start? What would you say? Here's how you start getting into it. Here's how you start learning. Here's the start things to start playing around with. Kind of what would be your advice to those people?
Yeah, so you definitely have to learn somehow. There's so many free courses out there. ChatGPT has their own, Google has their own, 100
Mm.
School that I mentioned earlier has their own. School, I don't know if you've heard of Skool School
I've been seeing a
before.
lot of ads for it on my
Yep,
yeah.
yep. Yeah, I actually have a school community myself of about 300 people where I teach about AI. So there's just so many different places out there that you can learn about AI. And a lot of people I talk to, they're like, "Oh, I'm a part of this course, or I did this, or I did that." So really, my advice to people is to pick one. Like pick one, take one course, and don't get intimidated by, oh, it does this or it does
Mhm.
that, or maybe this course is better than this course. No, pick one course and just learn about it. Like, what can it do? Are you interested in marketing for your small business? Okay, do a quick search, whether it's on Google or ChatGPT. Like, what is a good free course about AI that can teach me about marketing? Just
Yeah.
search that, and then you'll probably get 5. Take 10 minutes, research those 5, a couple minutes each, and then pick one, and then go. Like, don't get, the analysis paralysis. Like, that's the biggest thing, that I hear
Yep.
from people. It's like, "I'm so busy, I have all these courses, all these AI stuff." It's like, stop, pick one and just do it. Like, do that one until you're done. Don't worry about anything else. That's really the best advice I could say is what is your biggest problem? Ask AI or Google. Like Google has AI mode now, so ask Google and then go from there. Find one and just do it.
The analysis paralysis is such a, I think, common, again, something common amongst any business owner, right?
Mhm. Yep.
Um, and they sit there and they're like, where am I gonna find the time to do this? How am I, what is this even gonna look like? And it's very easy to be like, I'll do this later. I'll do this later. I'll do it next week, next month, next
Yeah.
year. And before you know it, you're again, like I said earlier in the show, you're well behind the power curve,
Yeah.
right? So man, I'm in some ways very excited to see like how this is going to transform and improve small business owners'
Mhm.
lives. It takes that effort early on to get going, but once they get established in this, once they learn all the positive things that it can bring to the table for their business, for their lives,
Mhm.
right? It's going to open up so many more doors for them down the line,
Yeah.
and it's not going to be a time suck like they might think it's going to be early on, right?
Mhm. Yep. Yeah, and that's what I think, and I talk to a lot of people, it's like, I don't have time to learn AI, like, I'm running my business, I have a small business, I have a couple employees, and, this person is sick yesterday, and this person is requesting a day off, and payroll is an hour late, like, that's their day-to-day problems, they don't
Mhm.
have time to sit down and learn about AI unless they really want to, or they make a specific effort to do so. And a lot of times they don't, because they just feel that it's not worth it or it does take too much time. But really, they end up saving a lot of time in the back end. Just put in a little bit of time to understand it, build the right tools the right way, and then let it go and have the assistant do its job.
It's an investment. And I think
Mhm,
if people start seeing it more as an investment
mhm.
versus some other tool they have to learn, like payroll or
Yeah.
marketing, or, like it's something that's going to over time just again help them out in so many different ways, and probably ways that they don't even realize yet, right? Because as they're going through talking to these AIs, learning from them, putting more information, they're going to get information out of it and get ideas of like, I mean, I've seen that before,
Oh, yeah.
going through and trying to come up with ideas for videos or things to try or do. I'm like, I never even thought about trying something like that, that topic, or trying it this way.
Mhm.
And it's like, oh, it opens up a whole new door of things to do and try. And just like any other business owner would tell you, like, so what if you it fails, right? You tried it.
Yeah. Yep.
But then there's things to take away from that, then you can apply to other things down the line and other ventures to try out. So it's definitely just, man, it's exciting to hear about and exciting to hear that people like you are out there. And it's not just like, yeah, you're growing your own small business, but again, you're actively helping out other small businesses
Mhm.
improve their own well-being as well.
Yeah, and they're the ones that really need the help. But, like we said before, they don't have time, and the big businesses they do have the time. So how can the small businesses compete? And AI, like that is literally the answer. That's how they can compete. Being having AI draft 1,000 emails. You want to send out cold emails? Okay, that's fine. AI can help with that. Whereas before, you weren't able to do that, at least at scale, or at least trying to grow your small business. Now you can do a lot more reach out if that's what you need, or you have problems with your current customers, like answering the same questions. That's one of the things that I hear, people, it's
Mm.
like people call me like, what time is the class on Wednesday? Or just stuff like that. It's like, I might be late for the class, like, or, what's your address? Like, come on, like business owners, or even people, if they do have the chance to have somebody at the front desk, they don't have time to answer basic questions like what's your address, things like that. That's something that AI can absolutely take care of, so the humans can have the human to human connection, so you can actually be with the people and let AI take care of the basic, high end basic stuff.
You hit on something right there that I think maybe other people are concerned about. They don't want to lose that human to human connection. Maybe
Mhm,
they're afraid that if they integrate AI too much, it's
mhm.
going to separate them from their clientele. It's going to separate them from their customers. So where's the balance there that you're seeing? Like, you're kind of already talking about it in terms of let the AI handle the minutia, right?
Mhm.
So what are maybe some examples that you've seen of like, hey, here's how it's actually help the business connect more on like human to human side once the AI is kind of already set in place, answering that minutia kind of stuff.
Yeah, so, I mean, just like getting new members in the door, it's like, okay, people have the basic questions, from like the website, or they want to know more information from the website, and they can't find it, or they want to talk to somebody. But if you have AI that are appropriately answering those basic questions, and then when it comes in, they can focus on the human interaction. So as far as, like basically when somebody walks in the door, they already know the basic information about the gym or the location, or, whatever it might be. I do have other clients besides just gyms. Uh,
Sure, sure.
but, if people do have questions or they do need help, it's like, okay, the basic questions are answered, so the human interaction can do those deep questions. It's like, hey, here's like the high level 10 things that you might need, or the top 10 frequently asked questions that people have. But I want to focus on the human connection, like the deeper part of like, why do you want to, why are you looking for a new gym? What's the problem with the old gym? Maybe we're a great fit, maybe we're not a good fit. But that's that
Mhm.
human interaction, something that AI can't, shouldn't really deal with, because that's more of a human connection. Like, hey, these are the people that are in our gym. These are the results that they're getting. Let's meet them. Let's talk to them, while you take a tour or something along those lines.
So yeah, this is just something I never even thought of. I have thought about the idea of it being an investment and making things easier for you, but I never thought about it. Like part of that investment is it's going to open up more time for that human to human connection,
Hmm.
right? And it's going to allow you to do that. And I think one of the pain points for a lot of business owners is they get stuck behind the desk,
Hmm.
right? They're too busy dealing with the budget or the finances or the marketing, and they don't have enough time. They don't get out there to actually interact with the people that are coming in their front door.
Hmm.
So it sounds like through this, like this is something that can really help with that. This is something that can really help um, put that, put the face to the name of that business. And again, like if I'm trying to go somewhere and I'm approached by the owner and they're friendly and they're trying to help me out, and I get this feeling of like, man, like this guy really cares about me. Like they're actually they're taking time out of their day to help me figure out the problem or the answer to the problem that I have here. That's probably somewhere that I'm gonna want to go back to, right?
Yeah.
Without a second guess. Like I'm not going to try to figure out, well, next time I have an issue, well, do I want to go here or there? I'm like, let me start out with the place where I felt like this person was wanting to take care of me. But
Mhm.
if I go somewhere or trying to deal with something where it's like, yeah, I'm too busy. I'll get to you later. Like, can we talk next week or next, it's like, I
Mhm.
don't have time for that. So I'm going to go somewhere else. Right.
Mhm.
So it seems like that in itself is a problem that maybe this AI tool or experiences, whatever, can really help get people into that direction of connecting with people on a more permanent basis and have that turn people. And we had somebody on the podcast a couple weeks ago talking about turning customers into clients. And I
Mhm.
think that's the ultimate goal is having those repeat customers to where they're actual clientele and you
Mhm.
get to know them and you get to know their pain points and you get to help them out because you already know what it is they're dealing with. So this is like
Mhm.
kind of what I'm hearing from you.
Yeah, having that personal connection, and I think people know, like, when you walk into a small gym, like, if there is somebody there and maybe they're not teaching a class, they come up and maybe they say hi, you can tell in their voice, in their body, their like who they are. You could tell if that person is like, are they annoyed that I'm here?
Yeah.
Like, are they busy? Are they too busy? Like, they're working on the budget, or they're trying to do the schedule, and then they see somebody come in the door. It's like, now I'm not going to get the schedule done. I got to talk to this person. Hi, how
Yeah.
are you?
Hi.
That's fake. That's not there. But if they have that time, because AI is taking care of that back end work, or at least like 90% of it. Now, I am definitely not saying don't let AI take care of everything. You got to have yourself in the loop. You got to know what's going on. And I always preach about the AI sandwich. Start with
Mhm.
AI, have the human in the middle, or we'll start with
Mm,
the human interaction, have the AI in the middle, and then have a human finalize it. So you
mm.
still need to have humans there to, finalize everything, just to make sure, because that's really
Yeah.
a lot of the problem is people just plug something into AI, they copy what they got, and then they throw it out there. That's how you get the AI slop. So the
Mhm.
AI sandwich is better and helps with that quite a bit. But ultimately, yeah, like when people do come into the gym, they can tell if you're not happy, if they think that you're annoyed by walking in. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, am I bothering you? Or you're working on your
Right.
budget? Like, I'm interested in being a member. Am I bothering you?
Yeah, right.
They can feel that. And that's, if you can take 90% of that time or 80% of that time and have AI do it, so you can focus on the people walking through your door, or maybe calling your best members and saying, hey, thanks for being a best member, or having
Yeah.
thinking about ideas of how you can take care of your members better or more, whatever it might be. Maybe use AI for it, or maybe not.
Yeah.
Use your own brain on this
Mhm.
side. But it's just the time savings that a lot of people don't understand how to do it.
Man, this is exciting stuff. And I like to kind of throw out soft invites to guests to come back on later down the road because look, I think the AI sphere is going to look different a year from now than
Oh
it
yeah.
does today,
Oh yeah.
right? 6 months from now, right? So I think as we go through, as you kind of go through this, as your business gets stood up more, I think it'd be interesting to hear kind of more where things are going and whatnot. So that's going to be a fun kind of journey to hear about from your standpoint and whatnot as well. So kind of want to last question for you. Just any other last advice that you have for small business owners, just whether it's the AI stuff or like what it means to be a small business owner, things that you've experienced and challenges you've had to overcome. Like what would you tell somebody from your standpoint, lessons learned, anything like that?
Yeah, I would say probably the two biggest lessons are what we talked about a little bit already, but ultimately find the right target market and the right fit. So somebody that actually has a budget that can afford your services
Mhm.
and they have a need for what you can offer. But the most important thing is that you need to find what that need is that you're fixing. What is the problem that they have that you're providing a solution for? And then make sure that they can afford that solution.
Yeah.
Whatever it is within your budget, within their budget, just make sure they can afford it. So that would be the biggest thing. And the second one would be is do something to learn AI. Figure out something, figure out a course, join my school. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Or just search and figure out the best course for your biggest problem and do that one thing. Don't do a million of them. Don't say, oh, these top five are the best. Pick one, because one is better than none, or it's better than 30 that you're not going to do any of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Remind us one last time quickly, like how can people find you? Or if they're not a gym owner, right? Like how can somebody find somebody like you, part of your consultation group or whatever you were talking about? Like where can they go to find somebody like you to help them out?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm connected with a lot of people. So innovating with AI, they do have a consultant directory. So there's a lot of people out there that are proven AI consultants. They have to go through this whole test and program, which I did, part of that. So like people have different niches, different projects, different things that they specialize in. So that's a great place. I'm always on LinkedIn. At Dan Mowinski. So you can find me on LinkedIn or my school platform. It's just Dan Mo's AI School with a
Awesome.
K, school with a K.
With a K. School with a K.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen those ads, they're like all over
Mhm.
my Facebook and Instagram and stuff. So
Yeah,
they're
you
they're
see
doing
that.
a real good job in their marketing.
They sure are. They have a big goal. They wanna have 1,000,000,000 users by the end of this year. So I know
I
I'm
would say that's
technically
achievable.
promoting for them right now, but that's a very big goal.
I think based off what I'm seeing, I think that's something they believe they can fully do.
Mhm.
And I wouldn't be surprised either, just with the amount of people that, again, once they start seeing the benefit of this, it's going
Mhm.
to just continue to explode, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so.
Well, Dan, thank you very much for taking time out today. I'm excited to have people hear about your story and your
Mhm.
experiences and everything you're doing. And definitely looking forward to hopefully having you on again down the line as well.
Yeah, thank you. I had a great time. Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate your time today as well. This has been great and so much fun. Glad to be on the pod.
Yeah, definitely, man. Well, hey, everyone out there, again, this is brought to you by Centennial State Insurance Agency. So if you're looking for a business or a personal insurance quote for free, give us a call out today, 303-838-0554. We'd be more than happy to talk to you, get to know what it is you need, and set you up for success as well there. So thank you for joining us today. And come back next time when we pull back the curtain and take a look at behind another small business. That being said, have a good day, everyone, and we will see you later.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Take care, guys.